Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walking His Ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Ways Impact Voice. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting again live from my city, my hometown of Mobile, Alabama, of course. I hope everybody had a great Monday morning, Monday evening, the whole entire Monday. I hope you had a very prosperous day, a meaningful day. If you may have had a setback, shake it off, get right back up, and keep fighting, keep moving forward. I'm excited about being back on the airwaves here on Blog Talk Radio with the Impact Voice broadcast. I think for all the guests that's been on here as of late, the motivational, the innovative men and women that I've been interviewing for the past year or so here on the broadcast, that it will enlighten you, motivate you. And I have another special guest this evening, of course, on the broadcast. A woman I came get to know for a short period of time. Just listen to this woman. She's really an inspiration. She's really a walking testimony. And just being around this woman, being in her presence, she represents no excuses. She represents that whatever you want your life to be, you can do it. You don't have to settle for where you at or where you started. It's always up to you. And before we get off into this interview, I want to thank everybody for their support. Also, we're going to there's a lot of great things coming up with the broadcast in a couple of weeks that I'm going to get into, but it's not about me. It's about my guests this evening, of course. And before I get off into the broadcast and the interview in a little bit, I just want to read something out of a book that I'm reading right now. It's called Knowledge of Self, a collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And so I just want to read to the audience something to get you thinking about where you want to be at, where you want to go. Where do you see yourself at in the near future? Whatever you want to change in your life, you can do that. And I got a person on the line that represents all that this evening. And I just want to read some about the book. It says this: do the knowledge. Do not put any limitations on what's possible. You are the makers of your universe. It's your world. Remember, if you don't design your life will be the result of someone else's design without your best interest in mind. Just think about that. Do the knowledge. You are the creator. You are the maker of your universe. Don't let nobody else design your life. Don't let nobody put limits on you. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do this, you can't do that. You are the maker of your universe. And I'm about to be able to put my guest in as we're ready to get off into this interview. And I just want to welcome her to Impact Voice. Natalia, welcome to Walking This Way, Impact Voice.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. And I thank you for taking time out to be the schedule to be a part of the broadcast this evening. And getting to know, just knowing each other for a short period of time. Just listen to your story. You represent possibilities. You represent that you can make anything out of life if you put your mind to it. And that's what I get from being in your presence. So for the listening audience, let everybody know who is Natalia.
Well, it's Natalie. Natalia is the Spanish pronunciation of my name. So it's pronounced Natalie. But Natalie is a flawed person. You know, she falls short like everyone else. However, what I think separates me from a lot is that I refuse to deflect from my mistakes, my past, my shortcomings, and take the bull by the horns and take control of the outcomes in my life. I do that first by accepting responsibility. I had to learn to acknowledge that I was the reason for a lot of good and bad things happening in my life. And once I got that, I was able to lose 200 pounds. I, obtained a master's degree, going to 3 grad schools, doing full time at all 3 simultaneously, and graduating with a 4.0 GPA, magna cum laude. I started a new career in healthcare informatics and made almost $70,000 a year at my last job. So although I was never the type to blame others for my mistakes, I never really sat back and took ownership of them. And once I did that, everything changed. I didn't, when I became disabled, I didn't sit at home waiting for people to set up a GoFundMe account for me or because I didn't get insurance or anything like that. My mother is a prime example of somebody who doesn't make excuses either. And she got me insurance in another state while I lie dying in a coma in ICU. She did that. My Obamacare I had at the time didn't want to pay for it, and she found loopholes that the social workers at the hospital did not find. And I was able to be insured in the state that I did not reside in while I lay in a coma. She did that. And then once I got out, I taught myself to walk. I taught myself businesses and things like that. So even when I got out and I had trouble finding rides, if my mom and dad didn't want to take me a place I need to go, they repossessed my car when I was in ICU. So Walmart.com, Target.com, I did what I had to do to get what I needed to get. I didn't have time to cry. I was $250,000 in debt from that hospital stay, and my bills were all shot. My credit was shot, and I taught myself how to file my own bankruptcy from start to finish by myself with no help. And I only paid $31 because one of the forms I filled out wrong, I had to pay money to redo the form. It was completely free. I did it from start to finish by myself. I successfully discharged all of my student loans due to my disability, and I don't have to pay those either. So I just, learned that I can either sit here and cry about it or I can take care of it, and that's what I did.
And that's awesome, just being a woman of determination and just being focused and just not wilding in what was going on with you at the time. I know you. I know you had stated in your bio about a record condition. Explain to the listening audience what that condition was and which took place, will place you on life support.
Sure. And it's a little lengthy story, but first I want to start off by saying I had no issues, any medical issues. I was on no medication. As I stated before, I lost 200 pounds with no pills, no surgery. My blood work always came back good. I didn't have or still don't have any cholesterol issues, blood pressure, diabetes. I've been eating right and exercising for about 13 years now, which is why I survived what I survived. So let me start by saying that. But with that said, in March of 2016, I suffered a heart attack. Technically, a heart attack is when you have blockages in the arteries and a portion of the heart is permanently damaged. But informally, a heart attack is known also as anything that stops the beating of the heart. My heart stopped because it was beating too fast. I have no other ailments, but the problem was that the thyroid was putting out an overproduction of hormones, which caused my metabolism to speed up, and that in turn increases the heart rate. So Graves' disease is an autoimmune disorder where, for whatever reason, medical science has not figured out why, the body produces antibodies in the bloodstream that attack the thyroid gland, causing it to overproduce the thyroid hormone. So if Graves' disease goes unchecked for too long, the patient will go into what you call thyroid storm. Now, thyroid storm is both rare and deadly. At the point of organ failure, which I had, it has a 90% mortality rate. I'm one of the few people in this country to have ever survived it, and my healthy lifestyle was one of the reasons why I did. Most people get certain symptoms that will send them to a doctor beforehand, rapid weight loss or weight gain, tremors, their hair falling out. I had none of these symptoms except weight loss, and because I was living right and losing weight anyway, I didn't know that my new weight loss was due to my thyroid being out of whack. So a lot of the other some people get anxious and things, I never experienced those things. And the reason why thyroid storm is so deadly is because, like all shocks to the body, it jacks up the blood pressure. So you might have read somewhere, hey, this person was swimming in some pond, and next thing you know, he woke up in a coma and all his arms and legs were missing, or things like that. It's not the cut or the coma that did it. It's not the bacteria or whatever that entered his bloodstream. It's the shock to the body that did it. So this is because when the blood pressure is dangerously low, oxygen isn't reaching the organs. So when that happens, one by one, each organ begins to die. So you might be watching television and you hear a doctor say, hey, there's nothing more we can do, but we can keep them comfortable. What that means is they unsuccessfully was able to get their blood pressure up, and now their organs have died so far beyond bringing them back that the person isn't technically dead yet, but they will be. Well, that's what was happening to me. So when this happens, when the blood pressure drops, there are a series of medications that doctors use to get your blood pressure up. If none of these medications work, they use a final drug called pressors. Long story short, these medications shrink the real estate of the body so the blood doesn't have far to pump. It cuts off the circulation to the outer extremities by salvaging the organs in the body. So we can live without hands and feet, but not organs, right? So up until recently, doctors would use a bolus dose, meaning that they would just shoot it in you at one big time, and people would wake up with no hands and feet. So yes, they lived, but their quality of life had been badly diminished. So doctors started, around my time I got sick, doctors started experimenting with giving these drugs at a slow, steady pace. And so what they would do is, if the patient went stable, they would back off of the drug. If the patient started to falter, they would increase it. And so they would play this delicate balancing game to buy time for the body to heal itself. And then the next thing you know, you wake up from your coma. All things considered, I came out really well. I do have partially missing toes on my right foot. I have a partially collapsed lung. Right lung is partially collapsed. A lot of other issues domino affected from my thyroid. But to this day, if I'm talking to a doctor or any medical professional that has some understanding of thyroid storm, the first question they ask is, how are you standing here? Like, why aren't you in a wheelchair? Why aren't you using crutches? Because it's that detrimental to the body if you survive it at all, because, again, it has a 90% mortality rate.
And like I said, do all that, you still going strong and you still persevering and reaching your goals. And my next question is, when you got news that you will be permanent disabled, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Well, I never technically got the news. In all actuality, it was common sense. I woke up out of a coma with a breathing tube in my mouth, blinking yes and no answers to my mother as she would ask closed-ended questions if I was in pain or if I needed a doctor. I didn't walk for the entire 3 months I was in the hospital because the thyroid eats away at muscle. So when you come to, there's no muscle left. You don't have anything. You can't stand because you don't have any muscles to stand with. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. I never called it disabled. I just couldn't do it. And also to give credit to my mother, she, as soon as I could open my eyes, like I told you, she was fighting. She was fighting with the doctors. And we don't get along, for full disclosure, but I have to give her credit where credit is due. She showed her butt, and she was fighting with the doctors, fighting with the nurses, making them check me. She wouldn't let them give me a medication or stop the medication without her permission. And as soon as I could come to, barely able to write, she was like, Natalie, you need to fill out this form. It has to be in your handwriting. They won't let me do it. I didn't even know what I was filling out. But at the time, it was for my disability paperwork. And what a lot of people don't realize is, and I just want to mention this for those who are listening, when you don't fill out that paperwork ASAP, it doesn't backdate. It's not retroactive. And so my mother knew that I had to at least get the form turned in. So whenever they would approve that disability, if they took 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, they would have to back pay me for all of that from the date that I applied. And so I was in my hospital bed filling out that paperwork. I just didn't know at the time what it was. So it was never me saying, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, woe is me. I'm on dialysis. My kidneys had shut down. I was on dialysis for 15 days, and I'm disabled. Now, it never even dawned on me. I just knew that I couldn't work. I couldn't walk, so I couldn't work.
And like I said, just being around you in person, you just a living testimony of beating the odds, and you didn't have people feel sorry for you. Just strong, determined, focused, and just like I said, just being around you, you motivated me and inspired me because you showed me that there is no limitations. Only limitations come when we put them on ourselves and what we go through. And some people just give up. And and I'm not reading your bio, of course. You started 5 businesses. What inspired you to become a business owner?
Productivity. My mind cannot be stagnant. When I first got out of the hospital, I had a walker. I had an external defibrillator strapped across my chest. It's also known as a life vest because I was really too weak to have any kind of surgery in the first place. Also, my heart was getting stronger as soon as they regulated my thyroid numbers. So they didn't want to run the risk, so they put an external defibrillator across my chest and sent me home. So I couldn't walk all that well. I was taking 4 naps a day plus a full 8 hours of sleep. All this is due to a weak heart. So all I could do was sit in my bed and stare at the wall. I don't watch television. I still don't. I didn't watch television when I was in the hospital, just sitting there in a dark room. So I knew that this is something I couldn't do. So I put my hands together and I prayed and I said, listen, God, I can deal with not having a job. I get fired all the time. It's a lot of things I don't put up with, so that's cool. I can deal with not working. I can deal with being broken, not having any money. I can even deal with not walking and not having a car. But I can't sit here for 24 hours converting oxygen into carbon dioxide and not having anything to show for it. I can't get up and do anything. Give me something to do, but not busy work. I need something that I can build upon. I need something that I can work with. I just need something. And so a friend of mine on Facebook put up a book called The Secret. And I thought I remembered it because it sounded like something that Oprah Winfrey was talking about a couple of times, and a couple of celebrities, raved about that book. And so I had just finished praying and saying, God, give me something to do. And that post from a good friend of mine named Darnell popped up. He said, it'll change your life. And I felt like God was talking to me. So I went, got the ebook, and I bought it, and I read it. And long story made short, I went from praying to meditating and praying. I started reading a lot, training my brain to spark new ideas. I started to tell myself that I could have anything or do whatever I wanted to do, regardless of my abilities. I never told myself that I couldn't walk or I didn't have money or I couldn't work. I'm only focused on the walking, the working, and doing what I needed to do. I focused more on the things that I wanted versus the money I had to buy the things that I wanted. And it just never messed with me. I do have limitations, but I don't allow them to hinder me. People can't look at me and see that I am disabled. They can't guess what my issues are. But back to the businesses, they genuinely formed out of brainstorming. From meditation came the metaphysical. From there came metaphysical stones, and then I researched metaphysical jewelry, and that kind of boiled over into charm bracelets and things like that. And I started popping ideas out so fast, I could not execute them fast enough. In addition to the jewelry, I do T-shirts, I crochet, I knit, I build and revamp resumes, I build contracts for business owners for membership, employment, things like liability waivers and such. I do business consulting where I sit down with small businesses, talk to the owners, they voice their concerns, their frustrations, and I try to find a problem to it. I just find out what people need and give them what they need instead of trying to create even more businesses and then an audience to try to fit that business. So if I don't know how to do it, I figure out a way how to do it. I'm big on research. I teach myself pretty much everything, and I find a way to make it useful to myself and others. I don't sit around. I can't stand just sitting around watching TV, me personally. Every conversation, every meal I eat, everything I do has a point to it. I eat 1,000 calories a day, for example, so I don't eat something because it tastes good. I eat it because my body needs it. I don't socialize with people who aren't uplifting anyone or uplifting themselves. So many people, unfortunately, whether they realize it or not, maybe inadvertently, tend to drag you down. I can't tell you how many guys have told me, maybe you had your heart attack because you won't sit down somewhere. You just need to sit down, stop moving around so much, let your hair down, relax. And that's why they're in the position that they're currently in. It's not enough that they don't become anything, but I have to not become things too. So there'll be a lot of people around you that's going to always have something to say. They always seem to have life hacks that are beneficial to you, but they seemingly can't provide themselves with those same life hacks to be productive in their own lives. I've noticed the most people with the most advice are the ones who haven't accomplished much themselves. So you have to make a conscientious decision to either go at it alone or associate yourself with like-minded people to help keep you on the right track. So no sitting around, no watching television, eating right, exercising. And if people can't keep up, unfortunately, I've had to learn to leave them behind. I'm no longer afraid to say no. If they get upset, they just get upset. Natalie has to come first. I've given and I've done a lot for this world, and now I'm the disabled one. Like I said, there's no GoFundMe accounts being raised for me. No offense to anybody out there, but, I've seen people who, didn't eat right, didn't exercise, type 2 diabetic, not type 1, but type 2, kidneys failed them, legally blind, on dialysis, no insurance, no life insurance, no health insurance, didn't do what they were supposed to do, and now they're begging people for money, and they're getting it. And I can understand why I don't get it, because I don't ask, and I don't ask because I don't have time. I can sit around begging people for money, creating sob stories, which I have every right to cry. I've carried a huge burden than most. I've survived things that many people don't survive. I'm doing things that a lot of people aren't doing. I've, accomplished quite a bit in my life and still hit rock bottom. And it wasn't due to anything that I wasn't doing properly or trying to cut corners. I've never stepped on the necks of other people to try to get ahead or anything. So, sure, I think that, the kindness of others, considering that I've been kind to others, $200-300 of, tithes and offering in church every month, you name it, I did it. So, I do understand, but at the same time, a lot of people don't know. I never told them. I was too busy trying to come up with the next plan, manifest the next idea. I didn't have time to beg people for their kindness or their gratitude, and I just kind of left that up to the people who had the energy to do that. So.
And that's awesome stuff. Just hearing the determination in your voice, that's really motivating itself. My next question is, what books are you reading? I know a lot of entrepreneurs are always reading books. I know I got so many books at home. I always want to have my own personal library. And of course, you see that I do have my own personal library. But what books are you reading? I know, right? So, what books are you reading? Beside when you're beside with your busy schedule.
Right now, the book I'm reading is called The Zone by Barry Sanders, PhD. Quickly, I was on the keto diet for a couple of weeks, and there are a few people that, for various reasons, cannot be on it. I was one of those people. However, I didn't want to go back to the way that I was eating, which I've always eaten healthy, but that was pre-thyroid issues. So now I have a very messed up metabolism, which means that my medications that I take, my food does not metabolize properly, which means that I have to work twice as hard, technically probably 5 times harder, being over the age of 40 and having a thyroid disorder. I cannot eat what everybody else eats. It's just what it is. I could be upset about it, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of diseases they were born with as well, and they have to just live life a certain way. And so the good news about the keto diet is that it teaches you out the gate to break your addiction to carbs. So you go through this keto flu stage where you're sick, your head hurts, you're deficient, you're shaking and carrying on because you're breaking away from those carbs. And I had already had that. So I didn't want to start eating out of control carbohydrates if I knew I could live without them. I knew I had to eat more than what I was eating, And so what I like about the Zone diet is that it's technically not a diet at all. If you go to the Food and Drug Administration's website, if you go to any governmental website that talks about health and wellness, it tells you, hey, for your size, your height, your weight, you should be eating this much protein. You should be eating this many carbs. You should be eating. Well, what this book does is it kind of puts all of that into perspective. So just for example, for every 3 protein grams, you eat 4 carbohydrate grams. So if somebody like me is supposed to eat roughly 100 protein grams, then I would eat 125 carbs. And then you split that up into different snacks, 2 snacks, 3 meals, or 3 big meals if you like, as long as you don't go over your limits. And that allows me to eat regularly. A lot of us, we wait until we're hungry to eat, and then you overeat. But you plan ahead. You eat that meal before the time comes for you to get hungry, and you never actually get hungry. And then I also pick what I eat better. So if I'm only eating 1,000 calories a day, a lot of people don't realize that's a tray of vegetables. Like literally 300 calories in vegetables and fruits. I can barely fit it all in my stomach. I'm full. I'm not hungry. And so this particular book that I've been picking up, I'm very busy now, but I learned how to pick out the important parts and then go back and read the rest. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now with it. But yeah, it's a really great book for anybody who's interested. It's called The Zone by Barry Sears. And a lot of people, I want to say we kind of tend to go off of what other people tell us when it comes to diets. We just hate to read. We just do not like to research. And we'll just let somebody else kind of tell us how to do it. And it's better when you read it because you have a fundamental understanding. These people have editors that have helped them write these books and make sense of it in layman's terms. So you don't have to be a CNA or a medical professional, but these people who wrote the books are the professionals. And it has been very beneficial. I've lost 30 pounds. And again, this is with a thyroid disorder. And for those people who are listening who have thyroid problems, they know just how hard it is to lose weight with a thyroid disorder. And I have a severe thyroid disorder, which is why I eat 1,000 calories a day, which is unheard of. But that's how little I have to eat if I want my weight loss to continue. And once I get to a more, suitable weight for my height and with my doctor's help and all that, I can increase to about 12 or 1,300 a day, and that'll probably level me out at that point.
Okay, then that's what's up right there. And like I said, you just all on the go and you got everything down packed. And I hope those who listen here are being inspired and having prayers answered. And like I said, I just give honor to who was honor, does the Bible say, Nat, just knowing each other for a short period of time. It's just your determination that will really inspire me. You just never know how God allow you to connect with people to help you get to the next level just by conversation, building a friendship. You just never know. But just being around a person like you is very motivating and very inspirational. So I give honor to who is honors due. And my next question is, what is your next move?
So honestly, when you're in a position like me, the next move is simply to move, to get up, to do it one thing at a time. You and I, we have a good friend in common. You know who I'm talking about, who you visited today to get a haircut. Shout out to Mo Signatures Barbershop. If you all are in the greater Mobile area, he is fantastic. What is it, 4300 Midmost Drive? I think 4300 Midmost. Everybody should check him out. But he is a hustler, right? And one of the things I told him is that his strength is his weakness. He can't stop. He can't slow down. He doesn't understand that sometimes taking 3 steps back will allow you to take 5 steps forward. And so I have learned, because I couldn't take any steps at all, that it's good sometimes to just stop moving and take an assessment of the situation. Meditate to take an assessment of your heart and your mind. Stop and get a pen and pad and scribble down some thoughts. Just try to settle your mind and settle your day and figure out what is the next plan. I do plan things as far as putting one foot in front of the other, but as far as 6 months from now, 6 years from now, outside of planning for your retirement and things, I also leave a little bit of space for what could happen or what might just work itself out, because there are things at play that we don't yet know about, things that we have not yet made sense of it. Think about it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, all he wanted to do was play football in high school. That's it. He just wanted to be in the NFL. But he injured his knee, and so he decided to go into wrestling like his father. Well, now he acts. He never thought he would act in high school, but he's making billions and millions of dollars acting. Every time you see a picture of him on his social media page, he's in a private jet from acting. But in high school, he didn't know that. So I try to learn those lessons from other people that are doing well or in situations I'd like to see myself in, and I listen to them. They always have something inspirational to say, how they grew, how they learned, how they blossomed. And sometimes the best way to blossom is to be still. Just be still and notice the things around you. Yeah, so that's what I want most for my people. I wish that we knew we could do anything. We want everything, but we want it for free. I taught myself how to file my own bankruptcy. When I got out, I was $250,000 in debt from the hospital bills. I did my own bankruptcy. Lawyers charge $3,000 to $5,000 or more, and their paralegals do all the work. I was out there trying to help my brothers and sisters file their own Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They didn't want to do it. So it's the difference between being delusional, thinking you're going to rule the whole universe one day, and I'm gonna sit here on my butt and God gonna bless me. I'm gonna just sit here. God gonna tell me what I'm supposed to do. No, you're supposed to meet Him halfway. Faith without works. There is a such thing as being, like I said, our friend, Mo, who just go, and I'm going to just sit here and do nothing, or I'm going to manifest $1 million right here in my room. There's levels to it. Everything has to be done in moderation. So I also move in moderation. I succeed in moderation. I grow in moderation. So the next move is to keep moving and to see where it takes me.
That's what it's all about. Excuse me. That's what it's all about, mastering life. You don't let life master you. And hope somebody's getting some out of this. This evening, of course. And they also go back and listen to the replay if they're not catching it live, of course. And my next question is, I know you say you got 5 businesses. You explain to the audience what the things that you do. So how can a listening audience get in contact with you with your businesses?
Sure. So I have 3 Facebook business pages. One is Inspirations by Natalie. That's Inspirations with an S on the end. And that's where I primarily keep my T-shirts and my ladies' jewelry. And a client came to me one time and said, hey, you need to separate the men's jewelry from the women because we're tired of scrolling through all them charm bracelets when we want to find something for us. And I was like, okay, that's a good point. So I created a Male Inspiration, no S, Male Inspiration by Natalie on Facebook for the gentlemen when they can go there and take a look at the men's side of things, men's T-shirt and jewelry. And then I created an official web page that was created by the wonderful Tiffany Cornish by TC Creatives. She is fantastic. She's done a beautiful job on my business pages. My website, and it is Yanci Na. It's not an English word, but I will spell it. It's www.yancina.com, Yanci Na, which is Hausa, the language of West Africa. And I have a messaging service number that is 251-298-7350. So at any point, if anybody listening to this podcast has any questions or something you would like me to do for you, or anything at all, if you're a business owner and you need somebody to do some research for you and point you in the right direction of something, you can text me, you can leave a voicemail. Some people may just say, oh, wow, finally, I've been wanting to bless somebody, and somebody who pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. I'm open to that now. I didn't used to be. I was prideful. My attitude was I can make my own money. I don't need yours. Well, that's not the case anymore. So sometimes people just want to bless you. So at any point, if they want to reach out to me or they need me to pray for them or root for them or wish the best for them, they can reach out to me at any time.
And that's what's up, and I love the connection that we got going on, in this time, in this season of our lives, of course. And and this pretty much sums it up on what's going on. Like I said, there's no excuses to where you at. And if you want to get to the next level, it's on you. You don't have to settle for less. Like you said, you started with your weight loss. You start doing things. And some people just give up on themselves. And I don't want to see somebody give up on themselves. I want to see everybody doing good, of course. And I do thank you, Nat, as well, for designing my T-shirt from my brand. The vision I always had was just the L Factory. L Factory is named after me, of course, Furman. So it's L Factory. And I thank you for doing the work for me. And also, I do pay her for the work that she does for my tees, of course. I don't get them for free.
Yes, he does.
It's a blessing, better to pay somebody for their talents to help you out as well. And I do appreciate you for that also. for taking time to beat the schedule. So I do appreciate you for that.
I thank you so much for having me and giving me a platform to not only showcase my businesses, but to hopefully be able to inspire others because, that comes in a blessing in and of itself. So once again, thank you so much for having me on your wonderful podcast. I'm a big fan. I'm tuning in every week, and I hope that you continue to grow and blossom as well.
I do appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words of encouraging words. I do appreciate you. I know you got to get back to your busy schedule. I thank you for taking time on your busy schedule to be on the podcast this evening. And also for those who listening, if you're in the Mobile area, we have our life study group that we do here in the city of Mobile. We meet at Panera Bread on Airport Boulevard at 7 o'clock. That's Tuesday. That's tomorrow evening. Come on out. We have a great time. We don't just talk about the word. We talk about life. And we have business owners. We have a book author that's part of the group. So come on out, be inspired, be motivated. And you just never know how God's going to bless you. Also, if you want to be able to support, the ministry, not the ones at the ministry, you want to support the broadcast of Impact Voice, you can cash out Impact Voice, any donation if you want to give, of course. And also, if you want to place an order for the T-shirts, if you see them on my Facebook page, place your order for the T-shirt. I had someone provide a T-shirt. That really blessed me, and that really helped you out as well also. So if you want to purchase a T-shirt, you can go to my Facebook page, of course. It's the Knowledge Yourself T, all about growing in wisdom. If you like the shirt, hey, get with me, place an order, and we'll just take it from there. So, Nat, before we get off the air, do you have any final remarks for the listening audience before we get off the air?
Only that, one of my biggest pet peeves, again, of my people is deflection. One of the things I have noticed so much amongst certain groups of people, the ones that seem to not be satisfied with their lives, the ones that seem to not be happy at their jobs, they're not happy with what they see in the mirror, be it their body image, their weight, the lack of weight, whatever the case is, I've noticed they can never just own up to anything. If you try to help and you're sincerely coming from a place of help, it's, oh, well, it's not my fault, it's because of this. Everything is everybody's fault but theirs. And I've lost a lot of friends since becoming disabled because I had to realize, oh, well, look, Natalie, without even saying anything, you're showing them, you're making a bunch of excuses. This girl lost everything that she had. She did the work. She got the degrees. She went to school. She has a career. She did. And you didn't do any of those things, and yet she still has more than you are, accomplishing more. And I've had people say, well, you're always throwing up in our face and this, and I'm like, I would never do such a thing. But at the same time, if that's how you feel, you should ask yourself why. Why does it bother you how another person goes about living their life unless you feel a voice talking to you? That small voice inside that says you can do it. Push the plate away. Go to get a gym membership. Be a better mother or father to your kids. Be more responsible. Fill out that job application. It's a voice inside of us all, and you can stifle it, or you can listen to it, or you can amplify it, and you can take care of what needs to be taken care of. And it doesn't get easier. I don't go into the gym hopping and skipping. I drag myself in the gym, and I drag myself out of the gym. But you get used to the discipline associated with it. You get used to the lifestyle that comes with, okay, get up and do this. You can do it now or you can do it later, but let's do it now and get it over with. And you just get into that mind frame of, you know what, I'm just going to take this by the horns and knock it out. Gee whiz, I don't want to be bothered with this anymore. And it becomes easier to be disciplined. And the next thing you know, you look back, you're eating healthy, you're exercising. People always see the final result. You know what I mean? They see, well, Natalie, I can't do it like you do. I can't only eat 1,000 calories. I can't work out every day. I got kids. I got this. Like, well, you ain't got time to go to the hospital either. You don't have time for that either. And that's where you're headed if you don't change your life. So you can make the time or you can be in the hospital with or without the time. And just get used to the discipline. Just get used to the putting one foot in front of the other. And it's not so hard after a while. It's a new lifestyle. That's all it is.
Yeah,
so that's it. Just
that's all it is.
Stop deflecting.
Yeah, And I agree with you
Mm-hmm.
100%. That's what all it is anyway. And it's I know, and when you start doing, you get the rhythm of it. Just like me, I taking time out for myself. Like I got back in the gym myself, of course, which I went this morning.
You sure did.
Um, and I'm gonna go back again in the morning and just work myself. Like I said, working, exercising, eating right, reading books, educating myself, enlightening my mind, enlightening my horizon, and looking at life different. And you know what? And it's the happiest thing that for real, because I'm so happy right now. It's just because what the direction I
Mm-hmm.
choose to go in my life, and I'm so happy. And I ain't even scratched the surface yet. I'll tell anybody, I ain't scratched the
Mm-mm.
surface
You
yet.
haven't, and I commend you publicly. I commend you, Furman, because I never told you. I don't tell anybody what to do, but I never said, Furman, you need to get up and go to the gym. You just you met me. You saw that I was going, so you said, okay, I'm gonna go. And you're one of the only people that I've met that the same day you went and registered at the gym that I go to, and you started going every day, and then you would put it on your Facebook page to encourage others, and you're consistent. It's really not that hard. But what is hard, believe it or not, people don't understand it. It's harder to make an excuse. There's been times where I've asked people for help, and well, I don't know. You haven't explained to me why you. Okay, don't worry about it. Because the time that the breath I'm wasting to give them the long drawn out story of why I need to do X, Y, and Z, I could have just went and done X, Y, and Z. See there. So
Hmm.
trust me, like you are already halfway there. My social worker, I get visits from my social workers because I'm disabled, came by to see me, and he was like, well, I go to a chiropractor once a month because I'm not in the gym like I know I'm supposed to be. I said, but wait a minute, you're halfway there because you just acknowledged you should be there. So it's different for you. A lot of people don't get that. You have folks out here that don't even see, they literally see perfection in the mirror. It's just ridiculous. So you have to set your mind up that I'm going to improve. Now, what those things are is entirely up to you. What I think might be imperfect, then you might be something else. So I commend you. As soon as you met somebody doing something you weren't doing, you took it upon yourself to say, you know what, the buck stops here. I'm going to get up. I'm going to take care of that. And if you keep that attitude and continue to put one foot in front of the other in that way, we're going to look back as early as 6 months from now, and you're going to have so many things going on at once because you just get up and do it simply because you make an effort. So
And that's true, and that's how
congratulations
I
to you.
look at it. I appreciate it, man. That's how I look at it. Like I said, even though I work, no, 4 12 hour shifts, 4 days. In the midst of my
Mm-hmm.
off time, I'm in the midst of my off days. I say go work out, educate myself, just start doing things differently, and just enjoy life and just have fun. Find your purpose. Find out who you are. Like I said, I'm in that
Mm-hmm.
season of learning knowledge of self, so I'm reading books and learn that spiritual side of me, and to overcome the odds. And it's a process. And I know we talk about this on a regular basis as well. Also, we talk about this on the air. Um, be careful you get in. Be careful you get involved with too. If you're going into a different direction, and that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing that brought up too a while back. Being in I know we got 16 minutes left. I know being in relationships, and you're being a business owner, and you was talking about that too, having your mate, your significant other support you in your business. Explain to the listening audience about
Mm-hmm.
that too. Break that down for them so they can understand that as well from a woman's perspective.
Well, to love somebody is to support them. And there's a lot wrapped into that. You've got people who, animosity or, just, and we're not going to go all the way down this path, but one of the reoccurring themes I deal with when a man approaches me and wants to talk to me is that, every guy and many girls are looking for a come up. They want somebody who's just a little bit prettier than them or got a little bit more money or a little bit smarter because they want to be uplifted. They want, to get something out of it. But then they get with that person, and the first thing they do is, oh, well, you're just so smart. You're this, you're that. Just why are you always busy? Why are you always working? Like they say with the woman, she wants a man with money, but if he's making money, he's always busy making money. So now he's never home. And so people have to be able to first get real with what they want in their lives. You think you want a drop dead gorgeous woman, but what you need is somebody to give you a swift kick in the butt. Or you think you want somebody to give you a swift kick in the butt, but what you need is somebody to support you. So, everybody's needs are different. But if you have somebody that is like me, then yes, you should want to push their buttons. I mean, should push their businesses. You should want to wear their products and show everybody how they're doing. And that's one of the things that, when guys reach out again to me, I tell them, I say, listen, you call me 3 and 4 times a day. I don't have time for this. It's not because I don't like you, which I really don't, but I just, their ego. Like, it's not that I don't necessarily like you. It's that I don't have time to like you. You are pulling me away from my businesses, which means you're pulling me away from my money, right? Now, in addition to that, you're not supporting my businesses. Well, I don't have the money. I didn't ask you nothing about money. I said you're not supporting my businesses, not buying anything. I said, did you tell your friends about me? Did you spread the news on Facebook? Did you invite all 3,000 of your friends to my business pages? No, no, and no. And now on top of that, the first thing you do is go get a gorgeous girl. Not calling myself gorgeous, I'm just saying. They approached me for a reason. Go get you a pretty girl that's smart and working hard, and now you want to take her away from her money, take her away from her businesses, pull her away from her productivity, and then wonder why she doesn't want to hang with you. You have to do something to make her stick around. You have to do something to at least make it worth her time dealing with you. So if you're pulling me away from my money, who's going to replace that money? And then they get quiet. So I think a lot of guys, they know, they may say, oh, man, you're perfect for me. You're perfect. You're smart. You're intelligent. But then I say, but are you perfect for me? And they just looking like, wow, I never even thought about it. I didn't know I had to be perfect for anybody. I didn't know I was supposed to be perfect. I didn't know I had to bring anything to the table. They're just used to going around, trying to grab cute girls and didn't realize they might need to look handsome one day. You see what I mean? So my ideology behind that all this time has been be the best Natalie that I can be. I'm single. I've been single for 13 years, okay, because I ain't got time. But I've always been working toward being the best wife I can be without knowing who my husband is. Again, lost 200 pounds, went and obtained a master's. Before I got sick, I had a great career. I could fend for myself. And even now that I'm disabled, none of my problems or issues drag him down, meaning that I don't have anything. I filed bankruptcy, so if we get married, my bad credit doesn't merge with his. My health issues are in check. I go to my endocrinologist and my heart doctor every 6 months because now my heart is, I got a echocardiogram due any day now, but the heart strength is, my heart is almost normal. I'm almost not congestive anymore. I'm almost out of congestive heart failure from the exercising and eating right. I'm almost no longer in CHF. I'm working on myself, but then when they show up, like I said, diabetes, bad kidneys, legally blind, no money, no life insurance, barely able to keep a job. And then they say, oh, well, I see you want a man for money. No, I just want you not to drag me down with you. If you can just carry yourself, I can take care of me. And so people don't realize that, we're not brought here to carry you. We're brought here to support one another. And so you have to be able to bring something to the table. And a lot of them can't do that. They just think, I guess, a drop dead gorgeous woman going to fall out the sky, take care of them. And that's not me. So right now I have to be single because that's what works. And, if a guy can see my dream and see my vision, because supporting him is easy. I'm always able to contribute something, an idea or prayer, back rub, whatever. I've never had any guys say that I didn't support them, but they need to learn how to be more supportive of the type of women that they want in their lives. So that's what I would say about that.
And I agree with that, what you're saying, because I said that's very interesting how you explained it and broke it down so simple. And that's, re-examine yourself and refocus on yourself and be disciplined. I know you got to get back to work. I know you say you've been going all day, and we're about to get ready to call it a night here on Impact Voice. Yeah. And I do thank you again for being part of the broadcast, awesome interview. And, of course, if everybody's listening to it live, I thank you. For those who want to go back and listen to it, you can listen to the replay. The replay will be up, of course, and go back, check it out. Get something out of it, because I got a lot out of it. Just dialoguing with you and breaking it up with you here on Impact Voice. So we better get to call it a night. I hope everybody have a great evening. Love someone, educate yourself, do some homework tonight, do some research. Instead of looking up foolish stuff, get some stuff that's going to help you get better as a man and a woman. It's so much wealth of knowledge out there.
If you have Facebook, you have Google. I tell people that all the time. If you have Facebook, you've got Google. Your phone. We live in a day and age you can ask your phone a question. Your phone will talk back to you and give you the answer. It does not make sense why we don't know what we don't know at this point in life. It doesn't make sense.
And I agree. Nat, on what you're saying, because we so accustomed to looking at mess, foolishness, negativity. We so accustomed to that. But we never want to focus on positivity, on what book you're reading. Oh, you start your business. Okay, I'm going towards my master. We don't want to hear about that. We want to hear about who messed with who, who's sleeping with who. We want to record hood fights. And it's always us. But we never want to record ourselves doing anything positive, sowing in someone else's life. And I'm not talking about financially, but it could be just a kind word. It could be, well, okay, I will support your business on my page, or I would send people to you that do things like how we do. We, network. Network is good. And it's not about us. It's about people. If you sow into someone else, like they say, if you take care of someone else's business, God will take care of your business. So if you sowing in someone else's life, God in return will bless you in return. Not doing stuff to be seen you just do it out of the pureness of your heart. That's all you have to do. But we got to get off the air. I know I said it before. We got to get off the air. And I know you got to get back to what you was doing, that as well. Because I know you on time. Time's the essence, of course. So we're going to see y'all here next Monday, same time. I have another lady that's going to be coming on. Her name is, I have another guest coming on next Monday, of course. She owns her own tax business here in the city of Mobile. So we're going to chop it up with her. And she's going to explain all things in detail. But I want to say, y'all be blessed. Have a great night. And we'll see you next week here on Walking His Ways Impact Voice. Peace, everybody.
God bless.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walking His Ways Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr.